Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Local sports roundup, Brandon. Let's start off with some high school football. It's not tonight, but tomorrow, a big-time matchup. Regis, Stanley Boyd.
Dr. Crow's Regis Ramblers.
Yeah. That is a big matchup.
Massive game in the Clover Belt. Both teams unbeaten.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams are playoff eligible. Both teams are state ranked. And, yeah, they collide tomorrow morning at Carson Park.
Yeah, that homecoming, too. I think Austin said when we talked to him a little bit earlier over there as well. So we got that one. How about some other games on the dockets coming up here?
Another big night in the Big Rivers tonight. You've got Menominee taking on New Richmond, Rice Lake and River Falls. You got Chippewa Falls hosting DC Everest, and that's a crossover matchup, so that will count towards the conference record for the Cardinals. And DC Everest leads the Wisconsin Valley Conference right now. Their only loss is at the start of the year to Rice Lake.
Okay,
they've been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, big win for New Richmond. They knocked off Rice Lake in a battle of unbeatens in a heck of a game. So they're all alone up top the conference with Rice Lake and Menominee a game back. Chippewa Falls Hudson 2-2 right there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a stacked and busy conference, I guess would be a nice way to put it there. Looking down in the Dairyland, you've got Aliva Strum and Pepinalma up top. They're going to meet up here coming up here in the next couple weeks, but not tonight. Pepinalma had a great year last year, and they've come back and they're right there with it again this year. So I know otherwise in the 8-man game, McDonald makes a trip north to Luck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually this afternoon going to be in New Auburn for New Auburn and Frederick.
Okay. And
then tonight I will be at Chi-Hi for Chippewa Falls and DC Everest, so that's going on. But right now, you've got teams that are playoff eligible. You can't flat out say that they've clinched a playoff berth, but they have.
Essentially they
barring
have.
something crazy, they have. If right now you're 4-0 conference play, you're
gonna go.
You've done it, even though it's not like the official terminology for it. They just say you're playoff eligible.
Mm-hmm.
You've clinched. So both Stanley Boyd and Regis, they're already in.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned New Richmond, they're already in. There's
Right.
plenty of other teams out there, they're already in. So, but yeah, we're in the final third of the season here.
Mm-hmm. So we got that just a couple weeks left of regular season. So, and then we're going to be talking about the seedings and brackets.
Yes, that will be 3 weeks. So
yeah.
But yeah, then you look at the Big Rivers World for volleyball.
Yeah.
Hudson currently up top. They picked up a big win last night over River Falls. Both those teams came into that matchup unbeaten in conference play.
Mm-hmm.
River Falls has kind of been the bit of the bully of the region for the last several years. Outside of 2022 when Chippewa Falls beat them to go to state, but that Hudson team is very good. That's probably going to be a favorite come postseason time, even though I'm sure there's other teams out there that are going to have something to say about it. River Falls, Eau Claire North. Eau Claire North picked up a straight set win over Chippewa Falls last night. So, right now that conference kind of runs through Hudson a little bit there. The Western Clover Belt, McDonald's the last unbeaten team in that conference. They picked up a win last night over Cadott. You got both Fall Creek and Regis kind of hot on their heels, and actually the Macs play both those teams next week. So a lot to be decided yet there with that coming up. We had girls golf's regionals this week. Excuse me.
That's right.
And Chippewa Falls, McDonald finished third behind Hudson. They're going to be moving on to sectionals there. We had girls tennis. Big Rivers earlier this week, Eau Claire Memorial. Not a big surprise, but congratulations to the Old Aves. They take home another conference championship. You've got sub-region or sub-sectionals and sectionals coming up next week. So we'll be getting into it there. Obviously, girls golf sectionals is early next week too. So we're getting to the point where we're going to be having some state teams for some of those those sports that always go first. So
right. Yeah.
Cross country.
I was just going to bring up too.
We're getting to the home stretch of the regular season. We're a couple weeks away from conference meets.
Mm-hmm.
So
and states at Rapids again, I'm assuming.
States always at Rapids, yeah. So except for the COVID year, it wasn't. But yeah. So that's coming up there. We are getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we are getting to it.
Yeah, no kidding.
It gets here quicker every year.
right? So couple weeks until for some until we get to like the conference and postseason stuff and all that sort of stuff. So, but I know Blue Gold wise, we've got they're going to be back in action for football. Tough one going up against River Falls. River Falls, one of the best teams in the country at the D3 level, and then Stout football is going to be taking on Stevens Point too. Both Stout and the Blue Golds coming off of off weeks last week to get back at it. So, but. All right. So where are you going to be at again tonight for football?
I will be starting this afternoon with a day game, 4 p.m. start for New Auburn hosting Frederick.
Mm-hmm.
Once I'm done there, I'll hustle down to DeRay Field for Chippewa Falls DC Everest. Then tomorrow morning, I will be at Carson Park for Stanley Boys.
I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask if you were going to go to that Regis and Stanley Boy game.
Part of the reason I was able to go to the game last night is because my schedule worked out to where I'm just going to be very busy today and tomorrow. So I will be loading up on the sugar. If you see me at a game and you have any gummy worms or something, give them to me. I will need them.
Gummy worms. That's your go-to one?
Sugar.
Okay. Gummy worms is an interesting. I do like them. Can't be the hard gummy though. It's got to be like a little soft. I can't do the chewy.
Yeah.
Gummy bears or
But like, and I always go day to day. Like, do I like gummy worms or sour worms? Like, I like them both.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends how I feel on that day.
Yeah, as long as it's just not hard. I'm
right.
Good.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Gotta have a good gummy worm and a little dirt dessert cup too.
Can't go wrong there.
No, sir. Really quick on the 8-man football, too, because last week we had some dominating wins, didn't we? Was it like Gilman?
We did. Really, Gilman picked a big win over Thorpe. Owen Withey's still unbeaten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're the number one team in the state right now. They've actually got, coming up next week, a big game with Clayton.
Okay.
Who is a state-ranked team, so that's going to be an important game for a couple different reasons. McDonald picked a big win over Cornell, but, I mean, right now,
how impressive a performance was that for that Highway 73 rival between Gilman and Thorpe there?
I mean,
with the way Gilman
it was
won.
A good bounce back. I mean, I remember I chatted with Coach Rosemeyer after they lost to McDonald, and Gilman had their chances to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, he goes, look, with the way that conference is, when you've got a bunch of good teams, he's just like, look, we can't feel sorry for ourselves because we get a rivalry game next week, and we know that Thorpe's not going to feel sorry for us because we lost our last game. So no, that was a good bounce back effort for them. They play Owen Withey actually the last week of the regular season too, so that could be a big one. Owen Withey currently has a 1-game lead in the conference over McDonald and Gilman.
Okay.
There is still a possibility of a shared conference. Owen Withey controls his own destiny though, as long as they keep winning. They got nothing to worry about. But they've got some big matchups on the horizon there. So, and remember the 8-man football playoffs. That should be a round fewer. So you have 4 rounds to get to state. And then that's technically your 5th round. There's 1 round fewer. The 8-man playoffs are smaller, so your semifinals are actually during the quarterfinal round.
Now, when it gets to state, they don't decide the location right away.
They kind of have. Like the last few years, they've done Rapids.
Has it been? Okay.
It's been Rapids.
Okay.
Because the first few years, they were doing neutral site because the first one was in Stanley at Oriole Park. The other one was at DeRay Field in Chippewa. Like they would wait, but I think now they've kind of just established Rapids as kind of that go-to because last year it was Thorpe and Florence, and Rapids wasn't exactly in the middle. I think it was a bit of a drive for both, so that wasn't the issue. But I think they've pretty much just established that Rapids is going to be the site, and Rapids is a good site. That field there that they have at Lincoln High School is really nice. So that's it's a good one, and it's got enough seating. And last year was, I believe, the most attended 8-man title game yet. So so that's kind of the go-to with that.
Gotcha.